Hello and welcome to Real Talk with Claudia. I'm your host, Claudia Ellis of Claudia's Door Decor. Today we are talking about something that I think is really super important whenever you think about being part of a community. And that's what kind of leader are you in that community? And before you swipe away thinking you're not a leader, you are. If you have a family, you're a leader. If you're part of a church, you're a leader. If you're part of a Facebook group, you are a leader. If you have coworkers, if you have children watching you, you are a leader. If you're a mom, an aunt, a grandma, you're a leader. Same goes for dad, uncle, and grandpa. But those are leader things that we have that we don't even realize we have. If you have people watching you doing anything, you are a leader. So here's the question. What kind of leader are you? Or what kind of leader are you becoming? Because leadership isn't reserved for the loudest voice. Leadership isn't reserved for the person with the title. Leadership isn't even reserved for the person with the biggest platform or the most followers. Leadership is influence. Leadership is culture. Leadership is atmosphere. Leadership is what happens when people leave an interaction with you and you either feel heavier or lighter because you were there. You are already leading. You're already leading. So the question is, are you leading people toward hope, toward grace, toward encouragement, toward growth? Or are you leading people toward bitterness, negativity, division, drama? Because communities become what they repeatedly experience. And every single one of us contributes to that experience. Okay, so here's the thing. A lot of us who are on this online platform or on any online platform, we're here for a reason. We're here for our businesses. We're here because we have something to share, something to say, and everybody has a platform. Every single one of us has a platform. So how you choose to use that platform is completely up to you. So be mindful of that. The internet did not remove our responsibility to be kind. We need to have a very uncomfortable conversation. Somewhere along the way, we became brave behind screens. People say things online they would never say standing in line at Walmart. People type things they would never say sitting across from someone at a coffee shop. People become keyboard warriors because the screen creates distance. The screen creates safety. The screen creates anonymity. The screen creates the illusion that words don't hurt because we don't have to watch them land. But words still land. They land on real people. People with real insecurities, real fears, real marriages, real children, real grief, real struggles. Real stories you know absolutely nothing about. The internet did not remove our responsibility to be kind. The internet did not remove our responsibility to be thoughtful. The internet did not remove our responsibility to love people well. So let's talk about it. Would I say this if this person were sitting beside me? Think about it. You're missing the tone. You're missing the look on their face when you say something. You're missing that human interaction that we need in order to know what that person on the other side feels. Don't be a keyboard warrior, not knowing, not understanding, not seeing anything about the person. Okay? Humanity is important. Being a good human being is important. Would I say this if their child were listening? Even when somebody is being ugly towards you, even when somebody is F-bombing you over and over and over again, how thick does your skin have to be in order to not respond? Why do people have to run around here with thick skins instead of looking at that person and being like, they're hurting? Something is much deeper than this for them to react that way. And whatever you say back to them, would you say that if their child was there listening? Because remember, children, anything you say about their parent, children take that to heart. Okay, so be mindful of that. Would I say this if Jesus were physically sitting beside me? Whether you believe in him or not. Would I want someone speaking to my daughter this way or to my son this way? More than likely, no. Would I want someone speaking to me this way? That's like an internal check. I get that our feelings get hurt. I get that we get angry. I get that we get frustrated. I get that. I get that. But do you know that taking a breath before you open your mouth can be the difference between saying something that you can't take back and saying something that actually keeps relationships whole? A breath. Take 10 seconds. Take 10 minutes if you need to. But relationships matter, even if they're an acquaintance, a passerby. What you do and say all the time matters. Okay? There are 3 gates, and you guys have heard this. Before words leave our mouth or our keyboard, they should pass through 3 gates. Is it true? Not what you heard, not what someone told you, not what you assumed. You have to ask, is it true? The second gate is it necessary? Does this actually need to be said? Will this improve anything? Will this help anyone? Will silence actually be more loving? And the third gate, anybody know what the third gate is? Is it kind? Can truth be spoken kindly? Absolutely. Can correction be offered kindly? Absolutely. Can accountability happen kindly? For sure. Truth without kindness becomes cruelty. Kindness without truth becomes enabling. And leadership requires both. Leadership requires both. So what kind of leader are you in the communities you are in? What kind of impact are you having with the people around you? When they think of you, what comes to mind? Is it, oh no, here she comes? Oh no, he may go off? Oh no, what am I to expect? Or is it, I cannot wait to see so-and-so. I cannot wait to hang out with and spend time with so and so, because every time I'm with them, I leave full of love and encouragement, and I just can't wait to see them again. How are we showing up in our communities? Okay. Love is greater than our feelings. This right here might be the entire real talk, because somewhere along the way we've started treating feelings like facts. But they're not. Your feelings are not facts. Feelings are real and feelings matter. Feelings deserve acknowledgement, but feelings should not be driving the bus. Because if our feelings are driving the bus, we quit when things get hard, we isolate when we hurt, we retaliate when we're angry, we withdraw when we're disappointed, and we punish people when we feel betrayed. But leadership says, love is greater than my feelings. Grace is greater than my feelings. Character is greater than my feelings. And integrity, that's greater than my feelings. But so is commitment. Commitment is greater than my feelings. Think about it. The only relationship, the absolute only relationship that we vow, for better or for worse, is when we go before God and our friends and family and vow to go through the hard stuff, is with our spouse. That's the only relationship. We don't do that with anybody else. We don't do that with our friends. We don't do that with our parents. We don't do that with our extended family. The only relationship that we do that with is our spouse. But I challenge you, if your commitment is greater than your feelings, and you have had friendships that meant something to you, if you are doing life with people, things are going to get rocky. Things are going to get a little rocky. Feelings are going to get hurt. Misunderstandings are going to happen. It's how you make it to the other side, offering each other grace, offering each other time, and then coming back around and being like, you know what? I didn't handle that well. You know what? I could have done better in that situation. You know what? My words were harsh. My thoughts were harsh. My feelings were harsh. I apologize. Do you know how much more better everything would be in our society if we could just humble ourselves and in humility and see each other as human beings doing the best that we can out here? But it seems like everybody is just rocking their feelings, and whatever they're feeling, they're reacting on. We're not supposed to do that. Am I saying, be hurt and be pushed over and all of those things? No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that as leaders in our circles, we need to be better. We need to do better. We need to show up better. Okay, we need to encourage others to show up better, to show people how to be approachable. Okay, for people to ask for understanding, for people to seek out a better relationship with you. Do we want to be out here not having good relationships with people? I doubt it. I think that we all want better. We all want more. We all want to trust. Guys, how many of us are struggling to trust other people because of blah, blah, blah? Been burned, been burned, been burned, been burned. If you have been burned that many times and you're the common denominator, I'm sorry, friend, you need to put a mirror up again, up to yourself and be like, what is it? What haven't I learned? What haven't I unpacked? What can I do better? How can I show up better? Okay, because we don't want to continue making the same mistakes or having the same outcome. I know that I don't want that. And I'm sure you don't want it either. Okay. So you've heard sayings like be the friend you want to have, right? Be the girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband, whatever. Be what you want, and that will come back to you. Okay. Is it true? It can be. It absolutely can be. But if we don't start focusing on where we are committed to do better, life's not going to change for us. It's not going to get better for us. And what you listen to, who you surround yourself with, all of those things are important because they affect you. What you put in, what you consume affects you. So be mindful of that. If there's something that you're watching or a community that you're a part of that keeps guiding you down a path that isn't fruitful for you, prune it, cut it off, move on. Hey, Cassie, good morning. Cut it off, move on, do something better. Okay, do something different. Okay, be led by good leaders. Okay, look at what they're doing. Look at how they're showing up. Do you want to be led that way? Because what you surround yourself with will lead you. It just will. It will lead you. Okay, so let's talk about maturity. Okay, maturity sounds like I was hurt, but I chose kindness. I was disappointed, but I chose grace. I was misunderstood, but I chose character. I was frustrated, but I chose wisdom. Hi, Miss Carly. That is leadership. Anybody can react. Leadership responds. Guys, I know that nothing shows you more about how you've healed, how you've grown, or what is going on with you more than when you get hurt, frustrated, or betrayed. Because whatever bubbles up to the surface has been laying dormant or hanging out there and then comes out when you are hurting, when your feelings are hurt, when you're feeling misunderstood. All of those things happen. But I have to remind you in the kindest way that I can, we are not children. We are not children. This is when the room gets quiet because adults throw adult-sized tantrums all the time. We see it. We see it in social media. We see it on groups. The viral videos of somebody going off. I mean, we've gone so far to call women who are throwing an adult-sized tantrum a Karen, negative Nancy, all those things. Okay? Because they're adults throwing tantrums. We don't want to be called those things. Okay? We, as adults throwing tantrums, dress them up in prettier language. We ghost people. We gossip. We form cliques. We withhold support. We stop speaking. We punish people with silence. We recruit teams. We create camps. We collect offenses like trophies. What? At some point, maturity has to step into the room and ask, what are we doing? We're grown. We're supposed to know better. And when we know better, we do better. Right? Right, Carly? Right, Michelle? All right. So the questions we need to ask, am I seeking resolution or am I seeking validation? Think about it. When you are struggling, going through whatever it is that you're going through, who are you going to talk to in order to get, I don't know what you're needing at that point. I mean, sometimes you just need to tell somebody what's going on because, you know, your lid is a little flappy and you're about to explode, right? But who you go to matters. Who you're sharing with matters. And I guarantee you, social media is not the place to lose your stuff. to show your tantrum or your situation. Listen, I'm not saying that you're not valid in the way that you feel. Feelings are absolutely valid. However, what you do with those feelings shows your character. And what you're showing of your character, you've got to think, is this out of character? Is this something you do all the time, or is this not what you want people to think of you when they think of you? Don't let people see your hurt in a way that isn't going to fix anything. If it's not going to fix it, don't share it. If you're sharing to fix, if you're sharing to heal, if you're sharing to do better, that's different. But if you're sharing to bring somebody down, to make people feel some kind of way about somebody, if you're doing it that way, then that's a reflection on you. And that's not what you want, okay? Am I trying to heal or am I trying to win? What are you winning? By bringing somebody else down, calling somebody else out, or doing hurtful things because you're hurt to somebody else, what are you winning? And is winning an argument really winning? That makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. And if it makes sense to you, let me know. Clue me in. Am I protecting peace or protecting pride? Guys, you know that you can't control what people think about you, what people say about you, how people feel about you. You can't control that. And if somebody's saying something to you about me, it's none of my business. They didn't say it to me. They said it to you. How did you handle that? Did you lean in? Did you encourage them to talk more? I mean, what did you do? Because if they're not talking to me and it's about me, it's none of my business. Right? Am I solving problems or am I feeding them? Am I part of the problem or part of the solution? It's like, am I solving problems or am I feeding them? I'm all about solving. Let's solve the problem. Let's suss it out. Let's figure this out. Okay? Because I hate to point this out, but bullying is real. It did not leave high school. It did not stay. Sorry, it did not stay high school. It came with the bullies. You know, that whole shaming people until they do what you want them to do. I've seen whole communities rocked by that. People are different for a reason. We are all uniquely talented, uniquely made. We all have unique perspectives, unique experiences. We all bring something to the table. Not every table is for everyone. So, if you're here at this table and you're checking it out, and there's things that just don't fit, they just don't. Don't try to stick a square peg into a round hole. It doesn't work. You just pick yourself up and go to another table. You don't have to destroy the table you just came from just because it didn't fit, it didn't work, it wasn't your people. They don't do what you do. You weren't going to grow there. There it is. You weren't going to grow at that particular table. You need to be at tables where you're going to grow, where you're going to leave that table better, bigger, better, and then keep moving to the next table. Keep growing what you're doing, keep growing who you are. Keep being challenged. Guys, sometimes people are brought into our lives because we're being challenged. We're being challenged to be different, show up different, be more patient. All the things that we have been fixing, growing, learning in ourselves. Right. You don't have to stay. Sometimes moving on is best. Absolutely. Absolutely. And everybody grows because of that. Because you didn't stay where it didn't work and you went somewhere else. Everybody grows because of it. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. But if everything in you is making you feel some kind of way with the table that you're sitting at, please leave the table. Please leave the table. They're just not serving what you like. That's all. Go to another table, okay? But every person has value. Every single human being that has breath in their body has value. Period. Exclamation point. End of sentence. Every single person has value. This is going to be one of the most important things that I say today. Every person matters. Every person, not just people that have value or that I value. Every person has value, not just the easy people, not that just the people who I agree with or agrees with us, not just people who vote like us, not just people who believe like us, not just people who are easy to love. Everyone, every single person has value, because if God only loved people who deserved it, none of us would qualify. Not me, not you, none of us. People are not disposable. People are not mistakes. People are not interruptions. People are image bearers. Does that mean that everyone gets unlimited access to you? No. Boundaries are healthy. Consequences are healthy. Distance can be healthy, but hatred is not healthy. Bitterness is not healthy. Dehumanizing people is not healthy. When I say that everyone matters, every single person has value, do you believe it? Do you believe that about yourself? Do you believe that about the person that hurt you? Do you believe that about the person that abandoned you? Do you believe that about the person that didn't see value in you? These are questions that we need to think about, because here's the thing. We don't decide. We don't decide who deserves and doesn't deserve value. The example that just came to mind is a bottle of water. Think about it. A bottle of water, a 24-pack bottle of water, you can get for what? $3.99, $4.99 maybe? 24-pack. That same bottle of water at an event, a stadium, somewhere that they sell bottles of water, same size, same everything, can be $4 to $5 for one bottle. The value of what that water is worth, the value of what that water was worth, it's the same bottle of water, but it was worth more where people couldn't get water somewhere else, right? It was worth more where people couldn't just go get a 24-pack for themselves. That's something to think about. That's something to think about. Where you feel valued, where it matters. It matters. Hi, Miss Tracy. Where you feel valued matters. Okay, so are you making people feel valuable when they're around you? Do they feel like they bring something, that you see them, that you value them? Sometimes it means that you meet people where they are. People love this phrase, meet people where they are. Very few people practice it. Meeting people where they are means understanding where they're standing before demanding they stand where you are. That means understanding where they're coming from before you ask them to understand where you're coming from. It means remembering you didn't always know what you know now. You weren't always healed. You weren't always mature. You weren't always wise. Someone was patient with you. Someone gave you another chance. Someone explained it again. Someone believed in you. Someone stayed. Leadership says, I'll meet you where you are, not I'll leave you there. Growth still matters. Accountability still matters. Responsibility still matters. But compassion matters too. Are we compassionate with one another? Do we care that somebody may be having a bad day and they're a little out of character? Maybe they just need space or some understanding. Don't just dismiss people for having a bad day. There is value in everyone. And you need to show up in places where you feel valued. And maybe point it out. Maybe hold people accountable, especially people who are leading others, especially people in leadership positions. You want to let them know that, hey, this isn't right. Everybody should feel valued. Here's another thing that I see that I'm guilty of as well. And typically, it isn't until I think about it later that I catch myself. So, gossip is a culture choice. Gossip survives because audience exists. Even when we say not to gossip, but not to share, but I'm guilty of it too. I don't want to share things in a way that changes people's perception or ideas about somebody, because just because something happened between me and that person doesn't mean that they're not valuable. It doesn't mean that there wasn't a time where we thought the best of each other. So when somebody's going through something or doing something or something is seen, we need to be better about reaching out to that person. Like if we have a question, if we want to know something, or if we observe something, because we all know when we're on this online space, we see things, right? Sometimes it's just better to reach out to that person to either gain understanding or cheer them on. So gossip survives, and it survives because audience exists. That's uncomfortable, because if nobody listened, gossip dies. So here's the thing. If nobody listened to gossip, if nobody listened to tea, if nobody listened to somebody sharing about somebody else, that would die off. It wouldn't be accepted or common or allowed, so to speak. I have a hard, fast rule because it helps me. If they're not present, if they're not here, I'm not talking about them. That seems to help me and guide me differently. Am I perfect at it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I do make an effort, and I do try to at least be a leader in that. if that person isn't here, we shouldn't be talking about them, because it makes us think. It makes us think and stops us from sharing things that we shouldn't be sharing. Because if we know something about somebody because it was shared with us, it's not ours to share. It's not ours to share. Okay? Leadership sounds like, I'm not comfortable talking about them if they aren't here. Have you talked to them about it? I think there's probably more to the story. I'd rather pray for them than speculate about them. You don't have to be ugly. You don't have to be confrontational. You simply refuse to participate. Leadership often looks like refusing to add wood to the fire. Think about it. When you want to share something that's happening with you, and you feel that the person listening is not participating, they're just not connected with you, you stop talking, right? You're no longer sharing because you're not feeling like you're being listened to. Why do we find it so much easier to participate in conversations that have nothing to do with us? Because people lean in. Because people want to hear what's going on with so-and-so instead of talking to so-and-so. Guys, it's bad. It's super, super, super bad. And I'm calling it out because, like I said, again, it's something that I struggle with. And here's the other part. Do you know that speaking poorly about somebody, that hating people, hating human beings, hating one another, is murder in your heart? When you talk about that person, you're murdering them over and over and over again. Is that crazy? But it's true. It's true. You're no different than a murderer when you're murdering somebody's character. No different. So be a person that refuses to add wood to that fire. That's leading. That's leading. And here's another one. Here's another challenge that I think you should think about. Show up anyway. This is the heart of what I'm trying to say. Show up anyway when you're hurt. Even when you're hurt. Show up anyway when you were disappointed. Show up anyway when you were overlooked. Show up anyway when you didn't get thanked. Show up anyway when you don't feel like it. Show up anyway. Because feelings make terrible leaders. Values make excellent leaders. Character makes excellent leaders. And faith makes excellent leaders. There are days I don't feel patient. Days I don't feel encouraging. Days I don't feel gracious. Days I don't feel kind. But leadership isn't about showing up when it's easy. Leadership is showing up when it costs you something. And that's the challenge, right? How are you doing this better? What are you thinking about that makes it better? Remembering the 3 gates. Remembering, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Putting all things through those 3 gates. That's leadership. That's leadership. And it requires us to just get into the habit and to do that better, to show up differently, right? The things that you need to think about, especially when you're a leader of a group, when you're a leader of a community, when you are leading in anything. Who in your community needs encouragement from you? There are people in your community that you see that are doing the things and they're doing them right. You need to tell them that you see them. You need to encourage those that are doing the right thing in your communities. Because here's the thing, we don't cheerlead that enough. We're so focused on the dramatic, on the tantrums, that we're not telling people when we see them doing good? We don't tell them. We don't say it enough. Who needs grace from you? Who needs grace? Who do you think you can pull aside in a moment of being out of character and ask, hey, is everything okay? Are you okay? This is really out of character for you. Can we talk? Do you need a listening ear? I sincerely care. Makes a world of difference. Who needs a second chance from you? Who do you need to give a second chance to? Third, fourth, fifth, 20th, 77th, doesn't matter. Who needs a second chance from you? Who needs you to believe in them? Who needs you to believe in them? Why is it so hard for us to believe in ourselves? Why is that like the most difficult thing? What is that child that we need to heal inside so that we can believe in ourselves? We need to fix that. But you also know that there are people in your community that need to hear, I believe in you. That's brave. You've got great courage. Carry on, move forward, conquer the things that you fear. You need to tell people that you believe in them. Who needs you to stop talking about them and start praying for them? Have you ever done that? When you feel like people have to know that this person that they adore and they esteem and everything else is rotten? Guys, everybody has value. If something happened between you and somebody else, it doesn't make that person less valuable. Okay, you can part ways and not have to bring everybody to the audience of, let me tell you about this person. Really? It's okay. It's really okay. Okay? Sometimes we bring out the nasty in each other. Have you ever realized that? Sometimes your relationship brings out the worst in you. Maybe that's a relationship you shouldn't be in anymore. Regardless of whether it's friendship or whatever, just because you shouldn't be in relationship anymore doesn't devalue that person. It doesn't make them less valuable. Okay? Who needs kindness from you that they probably haven't earned yet? Say it with me. Everybody. Everybody needs kindness from you. Even when it's hard to be kind. It's hard to be kind to somebody who hurt you, isn't it? Not really. Take the hurt off of the focus. Okay? Take that hurt off the focus. You can still be kind. If that's who you are, if that innately is who you are, kindness just flows from you because it's what you fill your cup with. It's the thoughts that you have. It's the things that you do. It's the things that you say. All of that matters. Okay? Who needs the version of you that chooses love over pride? Who needs that version of you that chooses love over pride? Does anybody come to mind immediately? It's not about winning. It's not about winning. It's not about being better than. It's about making that choice to see people as valuable, to share when it's necessary, to know what tables fit what your needs are, to continue growing, to continue being the person that you want to be, to continue doing better, being better, thinking better, okay? Leadership isn't about being in charge. Leadership is about taking responsibility for the atmosphere you help create, because every room changes when you walk in. Every conversation changes when you join it. Every community changes because of the people inside it. So ask yourself, am I building what I say I want? Am I creating the kind of community I wish existed? Am I showing up with the kind of love, grace, patience, and kindness that I hope somebody would show me if I were struggling? Because becoming the leader your community needs starts with becoming the person your community needs. And that starts today. That starts today. Be the leader your community needs. And it's not hard. It just takes thinking differently. Seeing people as valuable rather than disposable. Okay? We cut off people like they are worthless, like they are trash. We need to stop. We need to stop that. And the only way to stop it starts with you. Starts with me. Don't do that anymore. Don't cut off people just because you're hurt. Don't cut off people and give them the silent treatment, because guess what? That just shows who you are, not who they are. It shows who you are. When somebody comes to you seeking understanding, honestly seeking understanding, give them the grace that is deserved because of the value that they have. Okay? As we wrap up today's Real Talk, I want to leave you with this. The biggest takeaway that I want is that leadership is taking responsibility for the atmosphere you help create. That's important. And the question is, what are you building with your presence? Are you building trust? Are you building encouragement? Are you building belonging? Are you building grace? Are you building understanding? Or are you building division? Because every comment, every message, every conversation, every reaction, every decision either builds a bridge or builds a wall. What are you building? Are you building bridges or are you building walls? And here's what I know. The world has enough critics. The world has enough division. The world has enough people waiting to point out what is wrong. What we need are more people willing to lead, more people willing to love, more people willing to encourage, more people willing to extend grace, more people willing to have hard conversations without destroying relationships, more people willing to believe that people can grow, more people willing to believe that redemption still exists, more people willing to become the leader that their community needs. Because leadership isn't just about leading from the front. Sometimes leadership looks like walking beside someone. Sometimes leadership looks like pulling up a chair and making room at the table. Sometimes leadership looks like protecting someone who isn't in the room to defend themselves. Sometimes leadership looks like choosing love over pride and grace over being right. And if you're listening today and you're thinking, I don't know if I'm a leader, I want you to hear me. If your words influence people, you're a leader. If your actions influence people, you're a leader. If your presence changes the atmosphere of the room, you're a leader. The only question left is, what kind of leader do you want to be? Before we go, I also want to remind you that one of my favorite parts of this community is getting to share the stories of the incredible people inside of it. If you have a story to tell, if you've overcome something that might encourage someone else, if you're building a business, if you're navigating the messy middle, if you've learned lessons that could help another person, if you'd like to share how you got started and encourage others along the way, I would absolutely love to talk with you. One of the things I enjoy most is interviewing members of this community and giving people an opportunity to share their journey, their lessons, their struggles, and their victories, because your story may be the exact encouragement someone else needs to hear. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please reach out to me. Send me a message. Let's have a conversation, because there's room at this table for your story too. And before you head out, I want to give you a little preview of next week's conversation, because I have a feeling it's going to hit home for a lot of us. Next Friday, July 10th on Real Talk, busy doesn't mean successful. We're going to dive into the lie that busyness equals productivity, because being exhausted isn't a badge of honor. Having a full calendar doesn't necessarily mean you're moving forward. Running in circles is still running in circles. We're going to talk about the difference between movement and progress, between activity and effectiveness, between being busy and actually building something sustainable. If you've ever ended a day feeling exhausted but wondered what you actually accomplished, this conversation is for you. Until next time, keep building community, keep choosing kindness, keep showing up, keep leading well, and as always, keep building something you love. And I'll talk to you guys all next week. Thanks for being here, and have a fabulous 4th of July weekend. Until next time.